Yeah, there it is. Wow, the berry's here.
How are you?
Uh,
Are you wearing the dress I like with the little tiny waist?
oh, it does have, do you want to see the little tiny waist on the
Yes,
dress?
I like that
This
dress.
is girl chat, right? So we can talk outfits and we can talk whatever. So it does a high waist. And there it
Yeah,
is.
that one. It's very flattering. And
Listen,
it's
you
very
said it was
flattering
gonna
on
be
you.
spicy tonight, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna be spicy.
Well,
Time
that's
for
enough of
spice.
that. Oh my gosh. I love it. Love it. Okay. Welcome, you guys. Amy is with us tonight. I'm so excited. Lindy is got a lot going on. So we're going to be improvising. We might shift our talks around a little bit, just depending to accommodate Lindy's schedule a little bit better in the future. And but if you don't know my friend Amy, gosh, we've known each other about like close to a couple of years now, right?
Yeah,
Year and a half?
crazy.
Oh, there are our beautiful family. Hello, family. It's so great to see you all, Dr. Phil, Tiffany, Granny, Lindy, and Todd. We appreciate you guys so much. And so, yeah, we'll just kind of do an update, a check-in. We've got a couple topics that we might touch base on. Um, yeah, Amy has been in SPG for quite some time and has been this wealth of knowledge and female perspective. And so she's just my buddy in the gang. And we just talk all things girls and outfits and hot flashes and
That's
whatever
true.
it is. I know what it is that we're going on. Oh, we got somebody new to SPG in April. Well, I'm going to get to our topic questions, but Amy, introduce yourself. I know you've been here before, but I want to hear it all over again.
Well, I am 17 months in steak and butter, so I've known Coach Emily for 17 months. And when I kind of had this policy of that I wasn't going to take any fat advice from somebody who'd never been fat. And I I've always actually found that ever since then to be a great policy. But I saw Coach Emily's before and after picture, and I could really relate to not only the vast difference between, that's what I wanted, but also the look on her face. Um, and the first, I'm getting so deep already.
I said,
The first,
deep. You are usually such a jester. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's.
I'll be gesturing later. But you see how on the first picture from 2017, she's just got a little bit of a sadness that I can relate to. I could see it and feel it. But then 2023, the sadness isn't there, but there's something else, and it's not complete joy. Okay, let me tell you that. Like, I see, you know what I see on her face? I see determination, because I know that that didn't happen overnight. She was persistent, but I see it in her face. I don't see elation. I don't see um like something's been completed yet. Like she has a sense of completion. I see determination, and I also see a little bit of screw you. And so, just a tiny bit of screw you. Like, here I am, I'm still doing it, I'm still standing, and no matter what happens, I'm going to have my own back. So, I guess that's part of why I do this, why I am involved in the carnivore community, because it keeps me carnivore, and why I like Coach Emily. And I think this is also why part of why she's in the community is because you don't have an after picture that shows you made a check mark. Okay, I resolved my health issues and I feel sexy, so it's done. Because you still have so ways and avenues of going back to where you were. So you're trying to keep open people in your life who are going to help you stay where you are and move forward and help other people move forward. And so that's why I'm in the community. I was lucky to heal my kidney disease, a reverse stage 3 kidney disease. I also survived septic shock after I was already carnivore for a while, and the doctors and nurses were shocked that I survived. I know
Yes.
it's because of carnivore.
Yeah.
And so I've lost 70 pounds and 12 sizes. I'm
Wow.
learning every day. And I do feel close to Emily and doing these things with her. And I love Lindy because I feel like they're so genuine with where they are and what they're going through and who they are. And that's the kind of carnivore I want to be. So I like to be around both of them. And I'm thankful to be here.
Wow. Wow, Amy, this is mind-blowing. And I can say that same thing for you. And it's kind of interesting when we see those pictures, like I can see how far you have come. I can see those same sorts of faces that you're talking about in the beginning. And you're right, it's not a fairy tale happily ever after. It takes determination. And I think that's some part of the confidence that we have about why things are going to turn around for us permanently, whether or not we have a certain shape, sort of physique, or whatever. It's a determination to just hang on to that health that we found. No one can deny the health
Yeah.
where we were before. And to me, I felt exhausted, ashamed, emotionally drained, and unable to tackle. And now it's like watch me, and
Yeah.
I think you're right, that determination, because we need the resiliency. We don't need the Cinderella, we were in a poofy fancy dress and lived happily ever after.
Right. Right.
That's not life. So it's getting that determined, set forward face. And it's kind of interesting because that feels uh that can feel like not a sure thing sometimes.
Yeah.
And then when we kind of see each other and see that community moving forward, I feel like something changes when I can see your best and your success, and you can look at mine and see I already see it right now, because it's all like it's out there a
Yeah.
little bit, out there a little bit. If we just go a little bit further, if we just go a little bit further, and we're like taking back and going, no, we're there, we're there. Oh, cute
Right.
dress. Thanks.
See, I told you.
Yeah, I know it's in the picture too. The picture that he popped up was the same thing there. Wow. Fabulous. Fabulous. Wow. Thanks, you guys. Before we get into questions, I would like you to share with our YouTube audience, which I think they already know, about what's been happening at SBG. We've made a little change over there lately. Can you tell us about, and I haven't been a part of it yet. Can you tell us what's going on?
So there was an opportunity. Some people have been disenfranchised from their carnivore group. The carnivore group shut down, and we really like them. Very nice, just regular carnivore people. They're not pundits or anything like that, just like you and me. And so Bella was gracious to listen to a very sincere plea from Todd to have us host the group. So let me see. I think today was the 4th day. So we have an open chat, open forum now in Steak and Butter Gang, not to be coached, but for the members to talk to each other and to share their tips, their tricks, frustrations, whatever. And it's actually been really uplifting. I was surprised how much I liked it, because I'm a little bit of there can be too much togetherness in this world. Sometimes you just need, a little bit of alone time. But I
Yeah.
really have been fed by it. Like the people are so kind to each other, and people have such great ideas. And people come in and out, and they can ask questions and share what's going on, go back to work, whatever. So it's open for at 11 o'clock Mountain Time until 5 o'clock Mountain Time every day. And if it works well and people like it, then we might get to keep it. So, and it has been neat because I don't know how many times I've heard this phrase. I like to share here because I'm not quite ready to share in the big group. So it's nice because we're hearing from people who have never shared, and they honestly have such interesting things to say. So, today we went over 2 of Emily's recipes.
Oh, which ones? Which ones?
One is
The butter bites.
tallow blue cheese,
Oh yeah.
and well, the other one was the carnivore croissants.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah. Those are
yes,
so good.
yes.
I have a hack on that. And I'll tell you, and you probably already know the hack because folks have been sending this hack to me that I didn't think of. So a carnivore croissant is a classic egg white, cream of tartar. You kind of mix those together and get the right mix of that. And then I was dropping in little beads of butter. And somebody told me, you can grate the butter.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
So
Grate it.
next time it comes around, you frozen grated, and she sent me the picture of it that she had done it that way. And it's a great way to use egg whites and add more fat in if you're doing a high fat
Oh,
approach like me, and you're using these yolks for all your chaffles, and you're using, and when you make Bella's egg pudding, you do it with the yolks instead of the yolk and the white. And so I did a lot of yolk. I wrote that cookbook when I was doing 80/20. I was doing really high fat stuff. And so I was like, well, I can take these whites and just add a little bit more fat to it and get something. And then that croissant recipe double bakes. And so actually, it's in the brand in the cookbook, but I do a double bake on mine and it gets a
yeah,
caramelized.
I know. Yeah. When I tried it, I did the double bake. Even though
Yes,
you're like, it takes longer, but it's worth it.
it's worth it. Yeah, you really do. I remember the first time I made it and I kind of did a reel on it or something. Raymond was like, "What are you eating?" He saw the recording of it. It's like, "What is that? That looks like bread." I'm like, "Oh, it's fatty, crunchy, crispy, caramelized bread. Like it's not
Ah,
just, yeah." So
that's
yeah, I
good.
was experimenting. So
The other
good.
the other thing that people ask for a lot is the Meat Sisters Facebook link.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's
beautiful.
sweet. And Lark has come every day.
Love Lark.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Wow. Oh my gosh, enjoying the new chats. Oh, Lindy has been in there.
Yes.
Yeah, what a cool way to kind of tiptoe in. We have such a great group in Steak and Butter, and we have a lot of people signed up, and so those calls are big. We got, anywhere from 50 to 100 plus people,
Yeah.
sometimes 200, and there's a little bit of a like rush to get to share as much valuable information we can in 1 hour time slot. And this just takes the pressure off. And it's just like sit back, chat, relax, sip your drink, just like a
Yeah,
no.
you don't even have to have your camera on.
Yeah.
You can just do whatever you're doing.
To have some relaxed time together. Yeah, I'd probably use it. I maybe do my chores or something while I was chilling out and doing it at the same time. It feels good. It feels good to know the little weird, ordinary things that are happening, in people's
Yeah.
lives. Food kind of integral in everyday life, food or fasting. And so it's kind of a
Yeah.
cool place because you know that if you're on a fast, then that's going to be understood. We're fasting friendly group. And so yeah, shout out to everybody that's helping on that. And that's just in the 30-day challenge. And so we'll watch for more of those. It's experiment right now. We're just kind of experimenting, but it
Yes.
sounds like a round out to our challenge right now has almost like a lot of hype and excitement when we're on. It's like up at this level, just
Yeah.
trying to get as much motivation as we possibly can out there. And it's like, life happens in those quiet moments too. And in those
Yeah.
that aren't quite up at the jazz level.
Right.
So
Showtime level. Yeah. This is
yeah.
more like it is more casual. I think that
Mhm.
people, it has its place, like you said. It has its place.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, Amy, we're just going to go through some questions that Amy thought that y'all would be curious about. And if you have questions, we'd love to give it a go, see what we can help you with. And so we can kind of do that too. Anything from, what was your last meal? Oh boy. Hey, Amy, what was your last meal?
Actually, my last meal was delicious.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so my last meal, I needed to make a roast. My meat was expiring, common problem, and so I didn't have any broth. I usually always put broth, kettle on fire, or Zoop. Have you guys heard of Zoop?
Mm,
Zoup. Zoop. It's a broth that has both in the jar. It's cheaper than kettle on fire. Has broth in the jar and also in. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Better Than Bouillon. It
mhm.
would have been, yeah, and it's a paste.
Yeah.
So this is. They also have a paste for both beef and chicken, and that's a game changer, I think, because I can just use that paste and make my own
I
broth.
love that. Mhm.
I said all that, but I didn't have it with me. So I used a bunch of I used some garlic salt, I used some seasoned salt, I used some garlic powder. I'm at my mom's, and so I have limited resources. And then I
Mhm.
used poblano pepper seasoning
Mm.
and a tiny bit of cumin. I don't even own cumin. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'll try this cumin." So, anyway, I fried it well, I seared it in the Instant Pot in butter first, and let me tell you, then I put some water in there. First, I cooked it on the crock pot while I was sleeping, but it didn't seem tender enough, so then I cooked it on the pressure setting, and it came out so wonderful, I can't even tell you.
Mhm.
So that's what I ate. I ate a little bit of that with a little bit of shredded Parmesan.
Amazing. Amazing. So I'm in such a deep fast right now. I've kind of forgotten to track the time on it. And so we're doing Lindy started an app and Meat Sisters, and some of us are trying different lengths of fast. I think I'm on day 3, but I had kind of been rolling some. And so I was just thinking, I'm going to just tell you the last thing I fed Carson because I I can't really remember, but I feel so good. So I've been getting the shabu shabu from Costco, and I sear it in butter, and it's a New York, but it's already sliced up. And
It's
so
called shabu shabu?
I think it's called shabu shabu.
Is it
It's for
really thin?
super thin. It's
Yeah.
for hot pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't use it for hot pot. I do the sear in butter, and
Yeah.
then it's good to go for Carson. And then they also had some chicken sausages that were a little bit pre-made or whatever, so they would have had a little bit of other spices and things like that. And I seared it in butter, and he is
Yeah.
a very, very happy boy. Very happy.
That's a yummy meal. That's a yummy meal.
It's a yummy meal. But I'm getting ready to go to a carnivore retreat. I'm leaving in
Yeah,
the
talk about that.
Sure, sure. It's in Tennessee, and it's put on by my friend Scott Everson. And so he did back-to-back retreats. So the first one is ramping up, and I'm going to be there for the second one. And yeah, he's just invited. We've got Courtney Luna, Serena. So there's going to be some carnivore cooking happening. Dr. Baker, Dr. Kiltz, and so he just kind of arranged this time. Michelle Hearn's going to be there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Anita Buckley, Ketogenic Women, and we rent a
Oh, ketogenic women, people bring
Ketogenic Women.
her
And she
recipes up all the time in the chat too.
Oh, well, I think she's busy tonight. I'm pretty
Well,
sure
no, in in the SBG chat, people mention her recipes all the time.
they're amazing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're so good. They're so good. So, and she's just a lovely, entertaining, interesting person to watch. Her personality is gentle. She has a really soft kind of a narrating voice. And she was my number one fangirl that I ran into at KetoCon last year. When I saw her, I'm
Um,
like, "Oh, ketogenic woman!" And Indigo Neely was there as well. So these women that
yeah,
I've watched do a lot of
really.
carnivore cooking and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a really really good time. I get to hang out with Audra, and then a lot of these
Yeah.
folks will actually be in Austin as well. But love the concept of these retreats coming up, where I think I'm going to eat mostly beef and ruminants when I'm there, and I just don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Typically, how that
And
goes.
it tastes really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Good, good, good.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'll put this one up here from Dr. Phil. Thanks, doctor. So it's a great one. What do you know about carnivore today that you regret not knowing during your first 6 months of the carnivore way of eating? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, Amy. If you, we'll both think about it, and whoever comes out first hits a red button. We'll let it be quiet for a minute while we ponder.
Well,
I know.
I guess I know what my answer is.
Yeah.
Probably might be the same as yours.
Yep.
I wish that I had known about steak and butter gang.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
not your answer?
No. Kind of. It kind of is, but continue.
Yeah, I wish that because when I first read Dr. Phil's question, I was like, I don't think I would change anything at all. I feel very lucky the way things went.
Yeah.
But then I thought how hellish the first 3 months was before I found steak and butter gang. It would definitely have been, even if I couldn't do the protocol yet, I could have watched and had community earlier. I didn't know I mean, people say this all the time. I'm not unique, but I didn't know that I wanted community.
Mhm.
Um, but community is very powerful to keep it going. So I wish that I had found SBG earlier.
Amy, on your first go of it, when I hear you tell your story, you had disease reversed. You were doing fasting with maybe Dr. Fung's techniques or
Yes.
something like that. But it sounds like you were pretty carnivore on that go. Is that right?
Yeah, I ate ribeyes for a while, poorly cooked ribeyes.
Mm.
Like I was bad at it. And then I started bringing in some chicken and a few other things. But like one of the, like I just did stupid stuff. Like I'd melt cheese on a plate and eat
Oh,
it.
I used to do that when I was
Well,
keto. A
I still do,
big
but
old
it's
plate
more,
of milk,
yeah,
butter, and
more
sour cream on
elaborate. Yes.
it. Mhm.
And so I just didn't have any knowledge base. And so I hated my food.
Oh,
I
you
didn't like the fasting, but I still was doing it. I just was doing it poorly. And then but it worked. It took 8 months to reverse my numbers. I white knuckled every fast.
yeah.
And my ribeyes, I mean, man, they were okay, but uh I didn't I there was so much more I could have eaten that
Mhm.
I didn't even think about. So then yes, when I gained all my weight back after I cured my kidney disease, I tried to restart carnivore many times. Many times. I couldn't do it, couldn't stick with it. And then I ended up finding out that I gained 30 pounds more that I gained it all back plus 30 pounds more. And I thought in my head, I was like, oh, my kidney disease is going to come back. This is
Mm.
definitely going to show up in my blood work. And so then I thought, well, do I want to live? I mean, literally, like these are the kinds of questions we ask ourselves.
Mm.
Do I want to live or do I want to die? How hard do I want to work to live? What do I want? What am I willing to do to live? And it's odd that you would think that you would ask that question and it wouldn't be obvious, but when your stress relief is something that you have to give up, completely. I think that is a hard decision because when you
Mhm.
give up your thing that gives you stress relief, like when I ate sugar sitting at my desk, I could work like a fiend,
Yeah,
provide for my
you use
family.
it as a tool in a way.
Yeah, it kept me surviving, and then you give it up and you have to figure out a different thing to survive. And so it's not an easy question or an easy answer to that question. But you know, I must have decided, yes, I want to live. And so then, and that was at the end of July, August 1, I said, okay, on August 1, I'm going full carnivore. And then that's what I did. Thank goodness it stuck.
But you didn't join Steak and Butter till about 3 months in.
Right. Yeah. So I suffered for 3 months. I don't even know if I would have been receptive to
Mhm.
steak and butter. I was like a zombie. I mean, that's really what I remember. Was so zombie like. I was just hanging on.
Mm.
And I lost 18 pounds, a bunch of inflammation, ate a lot of cream cheese,
Mhm.
um, and tried to conquer my meat aversion and eat different kinds of meat. I binge watched different carnivores. I don't remember how I found Steak and Butter Gang, but when I did, I watched for the first month. So actually, it was 4 months until I started the protocol because the very first month I just watched. I never said anything. And then I was still using artificial sugar in my electrolyte drink and sometimes in my cream cheese. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, I can't do this because I didn't stop. I wanted to stop my artificial sugar, but honestly, it's one of the things that I did differently that try.
Mhm.
I kept it in and I didn't try to be
So
hardcore.
that you weren't miserable with your ribeye only life. Mhm.
Right. Yes,
Mhm. Mhm.
exactly. Exactly, coach. So I I kept thinking, well, I can't do this protocol, so I'm just gonna have to keep watching. Then I had decided I would go ahead and give it a shot. So I was going to give up my artificial sugar to start the challenge. And I had 2 days, I think 1 or 2 days, where I could still drink it. And I woke up and I went to have my delicious electrolyte, and it didn't taste good.
Mm.
And then I tried it a little later in the day again, and it tasted terrible. And I was so angry because it was my last 2 days to have it. And
Mhm.
I remember thinking, that damn Raymond, because I because I was like, I totally got brainwashed and tricked into stopping my electrolytes early before I had to.
Wow. Lost your taste. You ruined
Lost
it.
my taste for it. So I didn't have any trouble at all not using artificial sugar both times I did the program. I now am experimenting with it, but I really see the value for me that I went through without any artificial sugar because I could still live without it if I had to. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I could. And so, um, yeah, when I started the calendars, that just so easy for me because I could turn my brain off and just follow each day and listen to you guys and what you said and just do it and not have to think very hard.
Mhm. Yeah, that the structure that's provided with that specific thing, especially for someone like you and me, we know we love the fasting. And so then coming into something like that was well, you didn't know you loved the fasting. I don't know if
Right.
do you love the fasting now, by the way?
Yeah, but I have to trade off because I do love fasting.
Okay.
I like the feel of it. Um, but if I want to lift really heavy, then I
Yeah.
have to adjust my fasting. And so that's why I'm kind of doing these little experiments now to try to get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Because you love the lifting way more. If there was a choice between lifting and fasting,
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
lifting's going to be way up there.
My
Wow.
new addiction.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I love the fasting. I love the fasting. I've always been kind of into that. But I didn't have my food right. And so I would have unraveled. And so I'm thinking about this question from Dr. Phil. I'm thinking about this my 6 month period, because I kind of came to carnivore already a faster, and I wasn't going to give that up. No way I was going to give that up. And I would say that I got very vain in my first. It wasn't, I wanted the
Ah,
food freedom. I wanted the control. Like I wanted all of those things. And I had already gone from a morbidly obese woman, size 26, pants rubbing together, wearing through the things, tent dresses were my only style option. And, that was when I was 46. And so I'd already kind of come from feeling like just a blob in the world, that didn't have energy,
yeah,
to being normal-ish. When I got to around that 200 pound, was feeling kind of normal. And so I totally wanted the food freedom. I don't know if I wanted the nutrition. I wanted more like to not have that, not be binging. I wanted to
yeah,
stop binging, because
yeah,
I was binging and out of control on keto food, joining the sweet and fat together, keto treats,
yeah,
weird stuff I'd make in my kitchen, nut butters and coconut and all
yeah,
every sweetener there was. And I was making really sweetie fat kinds of things, but I still thought about food all the time.
yeah,
And so I what I wish that I knew was, I wish I knew to feast, and that where I was safe to feast. I did not trust feasting. I didn't even know about priming. And I it's so funny, because my path was my path. And I was got from that 200, I was probably size 16, 18, down to a super teeny tiny that I'm not quite, I don't, that doesn't matter to me as much anymore. Um,
yes,
but I combined the carnivore and the fasting together, and got me to kind of a different point. And I didn't know how horrible a lean approach was going to make me feel emotionally, because I got a lot of emotions kind of fixed and healed up in my first go with carnivore. I was still doing carnivore fasting. And then I kind of got greedy for more results and started experimenting with the protein sparing modified fast. And which I think can be a fine tool if you're primed, if you don't overuse it and things like that. There's all kinds of tools out there. I don't really have a problem with any of them per se. But for me, it just, I wish I'd known sooner that I thrive mentally high fat carnivore. That's my
ah,
zone for me. And so that zone, when I did that little detour, when I tried the protein sparing modified fast, I really suffered emotionally. And it was just like the thing that carnivore gave me that was so great started wavering. I was
yeah.
like, ha, that was
It's
a
more like,
panic.
yeah, more like a quick fix reaction.
Yeah, it was a quick fix. It got very competitive, and stuff that I hear all the time around me about wanting the lean, about wanting the abs, about wanting all that.
Yeah,
And what was so interesting, and I brushed up against that. I found Bella about 6 months in, and Raymond was there teaching this feasting kind of a fast method. And I immediately, like on my first call, talked and blathered everything, because I was so excited about following the calendars with the feasting mode and what that had done for me. And so then I kind of got both, because I got like the feasting thing and the high fat thing, but I also got the abs, and I got lean, and I got whatever,
yeah,
because I was doing these constant rolling fasts, and I was actually getting them in a really different way and feeling
yeah.
really good. So I wish I had known that me and fat are like BFFs, best friends forever, animal fat. And I wish I had known that I could have still gotten the results that I wanted with a feasting approach, feasting on fatty meat. So
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that you, like, we always talk about Raymond writing the protocol, but they don't realize that you were a fasting expert
yeah,
before you ever came. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know your history and that you were really good at fasting. So, um, I hear you that so that's how it was when I was doing Dr. Fung. I could have made it so much easier on myself.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And not have had the bumpy times and the
Mhm.
back into the ditch and, you know,
Yep.
and it's just all part of our journey. And then it's so relatable that other
Yeah.
people are have, you know, it's so I can recognize it right away when someone's kind of in that lean obsession mode. I'm just like, irk, that's an option. We can be about
Yeah.
that. But for me, there was a true emotional price to pay for being obsessed with that. And I'm just in such a different place right now where it's just like I've learned that self-love, that body love, that, you know, I
Yeah.
can't say that sometimes I still, you know how, Amy, I text you all about it, about if somebody says something rude about me on
Yeah.
a platform, then it is going to affect me, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but the core of who I think and what I think about my body now is I am friends with my body now, and that's
Yes.
different. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that I heard a woman say um, she just wanted to implying that she would feel better if she could just be small again. So she wanted to feel, womanly again, like attractive again in her eyes. And for her, that equated with the word small. And so I thought about that and about my own journey. And I thought, you know what? I started feeling not small, but I started feeling sexy earlier than when I got smaller. Because I didn't have inflammation. My libido coming back. Uh, I wasn't despairful, uh, and I just started to feel sexier, I guess. So I told her, I said, you know what? You don't have to do these things until you feel small. You do these things until you feel sexy because
Whoa.
because you can feel sexy and not be small, and we forget that because our standards and our insecurities, not just due to our history and that we were bigger and everything, but just every girl. I mean, very beautiful women feel the same way or worse than us. If you've ever had really beautiful friends or a friend that is drop dead gorgeous, way more insecure than me and my fat little roly poly body, just like way more insecure. And and so I think that carnivore is helpful with that because once you get your food freedom, like you're talking about, coach, and you're not tied to what you're going to eat next, what you're craving, how you can eat it so it doesn't make you fat. When you're once once you're okay with that and your brain and your spirit is freer, then you're allowed to start thinking about other things. That's when I started going to the fake and bake and got my false eyelashes. And
Oh, yeah.
when I turned 50, I was like, that's it. Time to do some things here. And so it's a commitment to yourself that continues to evolve after you make the decision to live and to change your life, I guess.
I hear what you're saying 100%, Amy, and I feel like carnivore redefines sexy. And to me, it was like even reading Dr. Baker's book and having him reference libido so much, having him reference things like morning wood for men, and
Right.
having him say like this is a sign of vitality. And we learned that the Seventh Day Adventists and such would say, hey, if they eat meat, their libido is too strong, and they're going to be less controllable and things like that. And yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, really, really.
We're like crazy sex crazed women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally, totally. But, the redefinition of that, and we're in a beautiful time too. We're in kind of that size acceptance, which I love. And I love the hashtag that's kind of like all bodies are beautiful or, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig this. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's an excuse to be unhealthy and inflamed. But very early in my experience with Bella is when Dr. Bright was, we talked about, butter boobs and better butt, and like we talked about like the curves that come out in women that are physiologically whatever attractive from our ancient history or something, and that it just kind of put the THICCC, the thick, back into
Yeah.
mix of that. There's kind of like a hot kind of a thick that is like a healthy something, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a certain feeling. I don't know if it's because it's such a nourishing, like, proper human diet or whatever. Um, but there's such a feeling of that you can conquer anything at some point in the diet.
Yeah.
And when you start to really feel powerful and like you don't care what other people think anymore.
Ooh, yes.
Am I delaying? Does it delay?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. It does for me.
You're
But
speaking, babe. I hear it.
okay. Yeah, so when you start to feel that way, that you don't care what other people think, it gives you the freedom to share love with other people
Mhm,
and to be able to be kind and loving outward, even though you might not necessarily get that back. That's a very
mhm,
powerful thing. And it gives you the ability to have self love,
mhm,
not, love of the world and worrying about
mhm.
what the world thinks about you.
I think a baseline, a lot of us come into a much more mature and baseline loving attitude. We've got the correct neurotransmitters. Our brain inflammation is a lot less. And so we kind of have this capacity, I think that I didn't have, the mental health capacity, which plays into the vitality, and we'll call it sexiness because we're having girl talk, and so that's what we'll call it. That's all right. Yeah, yeah. I want to get into this question from to Dr. Phil and answer this one. So he says, looking at your photo progressions, it seems obvious to me that you had a tremendous body comp change that came after your weight loss. True. So true. And not during the weight loss. And was that from your fasting or something else? Thank you for that question. That's so cool. We used to feature a lot of pictures when we would do our kickoff priming in Steak and Butter Gang, and we shifted away because we're always evolving and always, changing and stuff. But there was a picture that after I did my prime, I was about a year into carnivore, and I did a really good prime. I did like 17 days, 17 and a half days, right around Christmas time. And the shapes that came out to play, and the shapes that stayed a certain way, and it was striking. And yeah, why the priming was something that really helped, and I felt so good. My fasts were so good, but it was an improvement, and it wasn't tiny. It wasn't, oh, I want to feel feminine because I want to feel small. It
Right.
it was how good I felt. The skin improved. Yeah, there we are, beautiful. And,
Yeah.
just changes that happened. And it was, the priming stuff put weight on me in good places that I don't
Yeah.
know that I could have accepted that without a healthy mindset. But I
Yeah.
guess I've been around Bella, Raymond, the community enough to really celebrate like a full shape that had a lot of curves here and there, or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, and I think the continued carnivore and continued fasting, I'm 3.5 year carnivore at this point. So, so much of my body has just been continuously exposed to a lot of cellular regeneration as I've been able
Yeah.
to fast and things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it was good. Priming and fasting made a big difference. Yeah. Yep. Something, yeah, I saw that a lot. Different changes coming. Yep. Fasting and priming for the win and just the confidence. I think the confidence of being in the community together made a big difference too, just in outlook and attitude and
Yeah.
mhm. We do have a question about the air fryers, about are we concerned about the coatings and such that are on the air fryers?
Teflon. We were just talking about that today in the SBG chat, that I saw Lindy put that in there, that you have to be careful with Teflon because it can kill birds. So if you have a bird you don't like, just kidding, Lindy. I'm just joking around. And cook on your Teflon. But yeah, somebody said they had a chef's copper. They really like that. It's chef's copper with a granite coating. And we talked about the hex. I don't know. It's the one that Bella uses in her videos. You know, it has a hexagon on it. I can't
Oh,
remember what it's called. Hex something. But
mm,
but anyway, I use stainless steel and cast iron because
yeah. Yeah, I haven't been using my air fryer as much. I'm doing a lot on the stovetop in something that has a baked in. I don't think it really has a coating on it. It's kind of baked in there that I got at Costco. And so I've just been enjoying that, and it's actually less cleanup. Because I don't have to clean the air fryer. So I've been really enjoying that, and I get more fat, so I can just
yeah.
pour fat right over my plate, eat it on my eggs or steak or whatever, or just let it solidify and go back and lick it.
Yeah. Well, and it's hex clad. Yes, hex clad.
Okay.
Well, I think so. My opinion is, if the question is, they're dangerous things? I don't use Teflon. I do think it's dangerous, and I don't use aluminum pans.
Mhm.
So yes, I am, but for the most part, like, I do have things I don't compromise on. I won't drink tap water. I will
Mm.
avoid it as much as possible. But then there are just so many things. But apart, I probably have some things that have toxins, like the Teflon. Oh, like my air fryer and my toffle maker and all of that.
Mhm.
But I just can't worry about every single thing, so I cut it off.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we can only worry about so many issues. I have an egg thing that I use, countertop, that's steamer, so I think I'm in the safe right there, but I don't make chaffles very much right now, but if I did, that
Yeah.
would be a little bit, and you're right, we're changing that food source, and so there's a lot of turnover, and we're fasters. So, I figure there's a lot that's kinda happening behind the
Yeah.
scenes and detoxing, and, but I guess for me, just it's been the cleanup lately that I have been loving, just moving more to
Yeah.
shop and more to just baking stuff and not dealing with cleaning my air fryer so much. I do see a question in here. This is interesting. It's kind of a steak and butter question, but we can look at it. Do I do priming? Oh, while I'm fasting, 101. Yeah, there's so many, I love the conceptual of priming is sort of a feasting. When we're doing it in steak and butter, we're doing it for a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, really, really hitting that strong according to your body signals and things like that. And, but can you combine it? Well, I did. I was already doing alternate day fast, and I was already wanting to do rolling 48, and I kinda didn't listen to that 14-day part. And I just kinda, like, jumped right in and used the priming concept to really up my fasting protocols. And so I did it backwards. And I was so happy once I finally kind of switched gears and did a full prime and did the 17 days. Well, I did extra credit. And yeah, yeah, I did that right around
Extra
time.
credit.
I did. It was 7 I did 3.5 days extra. And, I was happy with how that went. So I feel that there's concepts that we can really take away that, that are good. And then I also love, love, love that we have such a large body of experienced SPG folks who have literally followed the instructions, trusted the process, and followed the steps. And then we have all this like healing and knowledge and things from that we have seen happen from just like turning your brain off and just following the instructions. So I think there's a real
Yeah,
benefit to doing that.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. Titanium. Nice. Ooh, I use all wide mouth canning jars, easy cleaning and easy filling. We drink out of those. Those are our water glasses.
We drink out of those too.
Yo, it feels so
Mhm.
like country, right?
I feel so what's the picture one that I never use? The social media thing that's all just pictures.
Pinterest.
Pinterest. It's so Pinterest.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in a long time.
I get very confused when I'm on there, so I'll go on there.
I see a question here. Can you briefly explain what a rolling fast means? Thank you. Go ahead, Coach Amy.
Well, it can be any length of fast. So some people will do rolling 48s, for example. But basically, all it means is that you do your fast, then you eat, then you do that same fast. You eat, and sometimes, I mean, depending on what you like your windows to be, that might mean that you have a whole day in between. It might mean that you have 18 hours in between, but that's basically what it means. Rolling 48s, uh, rolling. You could do rolling 24 hours by skipping 24 hours, but like a better thing is alternate day fasting, which isn't rolling, but it's gives you the variable thing. I love alternate day fasting, but a lot rolling 48s is mostly what you hear.
Yeah, you're right. So we sort of Raymond last year did a rolling alternate fast, rolling ADF. So we've kind of gotten into that too. Gosh, I hear in the Fungs brand they do a lot of rolling 42s, you know. So it's kind of like everybody
They
has their
do. They
favorite.
do. That's what I mostly did there, and it was hard for me.
I would think so, but Raymond said he does a rolling 41s. So yeah, there's some difficulty in there. I love the concept of it. And we don't roll indefinitely. We roll for a little while and then we take a home base. And then we roll for a little while and then we take a home base. Home base is like when you rest, prime, reset, don't fast, take a break from fasting, and then kind of get back into that. And I think that's really powerful. And I love the chisel concept where it kind of your recomp is like a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And so
Yep,
you
so
don't
true.
lose 30 pounds in a 90-day fast, or unless you're Michael, then you do. But you know, so you don't have a big thing like that. It's more of a slow, steady chipping away and not stressing things too far so that you stay and you can stay in that nourished state while you're kind of getting that going. And it's a fun zone. I actually, I don't know if I do it again. I love the rolling 48s with the 2-hour refeed. Was there a rolling fast that you loved, Amy?
Um, I would say I like the rolling 48s
Yeah.
because it comes at the right time in the schedule. But um, I saw Tiffany said, does that mean a 1 hour eating window? Everybody's is different, but um, like for example, for alternate day fast, I eat the full time in between.
Oh,
So I eat,
true.
yeah, I eat a full 24 hours um, in between my ADFs. And a lot of times I'll eat on the first hour and on the 24th hour. Um, but like Coach just said, she does 2 hour eating window on her rolling 48s. I was experimenting with my dry fast and into a water fast. And I'm still experimenting with that eating window because I'm having trouble keeping my water fast going as it gets later in the day. And So I'm thinking maybe I just go ahead and have a 1 hour eating window and go back into a water fast for the next day and then eat and then go into my next thing. So you have to play with it, I guess, depending on how you're retaining your nourishment. If you start to feel like death, then you gotta switch things up.
I love there's unending experiments that we can play with, just playing around with stuff. I love that experimentation. From Who's Your Carnivore, I've been strict carnivore for a year, lost most of my weight through various methods of fasting. Yeah, OMAD, 2MAD, extended fast. Listen to all this. I love this. But not much at all from eating carnivore. Is this normal? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it is for me. I will say that my recomp has to do with fasting and feasting, kind of both. Both of those were components for when my body's recomping and when my body's kind of been in a phase where I've lost my fasting mojo, I should say, and it's just not there. You've been through some chapters like that, Amy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I just am coming out of one because I haven't been able to fast very well for the last 5 months.
Yeah, I've been there too. Yep. Yeah, and so for me, since I'm not hitting the gym super heavy right now, or I don't know why, but I don't get the recomp. But I need the fast. I need that break for that recomp to really kick into gear. I feel a lot less attached to it because I just kind of have a lot of self-love and a lot of body love right now, and that has been my gift for the last couple of years. And so when I hit a phase where my fasting mojo's piddled out, I don't go on hating myself. I don't like I coach has taught me, being with y'all has taught me, my community has taught me to take that observer role in it and to
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
tell me. Mhm.
Take your observer role.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't judge, don't absorb, don't get emotional. Don't be emotional. Just observe yourself like you're watching an experiment or a movie, and then you can make better decisions instead of emotional decisions.
I love that. I love that. And I kind of just patiently wait. My fasting mojo is like a gift. And when it comes around, I follow the fast and the fast leads me. And that's where I'm kind of at right now with it. And that's not to say I wouldn't take on a very specific structured protocol. But I am accepting of that. And I'm also accepting of that I'm not going to get massive recomp and my abs aren't going to pop if fasting is not in my life at that particular point, and I'm like super, super okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to lean out a little bit right now, so I'm playing with it, but I had to trick myself. You know, I've structured it so that I'm extremely satiated when I
Mm,
go in,
yeah,
but
me too. Me
yeah,
too.
when I come back out, I'm stretching that a little bit
Yeah.
because I'm trying to net as much benefit as I can from the fast.
Yeah.
And to do that, I have to go slowly out of the fast a little bit to
Mhm.
stretch out that time frame. And that's the window that I'm struggling with a lot. I want to just go right back into a big meal and 4 more big meals that day or whatever, but I'm trying to stretch it, and that I can really feel that when I'm doing that. So,
Mm,
little rough.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, I love the observing point, and I remember, Amy, you hit kind of your low or goal, and I mean, you had a bunch of medical stuff going on there too, and Raymond and I were just like kind of watching and just kind of trying to say, man, we don't want her to rebound, and we knew that you'd
Right,
already had something like that go,
right.
and so I think a cautious as you're kind of playing with that bottom range right now, that you're being very cautious
Yes,
with
you're
satiety.
so right. Yeah.
Well, it's strikingly beautiful, and we know what that's like when you went through the hard work of that. You don't want it to unravel, and if you push on the hunger hormones too far, then it can.
It's
Thank
so
goodness
true.
the carnivore kind of keeps us pretty boundaried in that because the food's so satiating that I don't see, but I think it could. So I love the awareness and cautiousness that you're spending right now when you're, kind
Yeah.
of optimization. You're in a real optimization zone.
Yes, and I'm also aware that it's a little bit nutty, but that I can't be nutty all the time. I have to
Yes.
live
Yeah.
in this. You
Okay.
can't live in this all the time. You have to go back to, as they say in SPG, home base. It's
Yeah.
got to go back to home base.
I love that. Oh man, we have such a beautiful home to come back to. And our home base isn't going to trigger food addiction.
Right.
That's what I love. That's what I love. I'm not going to go in the old keto days when I went back to taking a break from fasting or whatever. I had straight on the food addict, straight on the sugar addict, sweet addict, keto addict, whatever you want to call it. It was, the food, the landing is so safe for me now when I'm coming out of a fast. It's just, I
Yeah.
appreciate that so much. So Ruth Ann is curious, how long do your water fast last? Go ahead. You answer and I'll answer. Got some dirty
Well,
questions.
the thing that I'm doing right now is the water fasting part of it has lasted about 22 hours.
Love
About
it.
that.
Love it. My water fast, lately, I would say that I'm very fasting adapted. My body's used to it. I feel like I've spent the last 3 years of my life priming, but I'm very, very priming concept for my base. I really stay nourished and stay satisfied. And so I follow the fast. So my water fast can be anywhere from a 36 to I do 5-day fast regularly with Dr. Kiltz. He tends to pop one out there in the community, I'd say every once a season about. So usually when he's doing one, I jump on and do the 5-day with him. So yeah, mine can get longer like that. But I love that I went through just that alternate day period where really
Yeah.
and the max we coach is a 72 hour. And so for me, I have to be real gentle when I'm coming out of that 5-day. I'll come out of it with some broth first and things like that. But it's a big healer. Oh, well, look at that. Do you use bone broth coming out of a water fast? Yes, for my long ones. So if I've been doing a 120 with Dr. Kiltz, a 5-day water fast, I'm going to come out of that with broth, and that's going to help me to not have a big digestion and not feel ill when I'm on the other side of it. So it used to be when I was keto, I just would plan sick days. When I knew when I was coming to the end of a fast, my fast was great. Loved my fast, but I literally had to plan the sick days coming out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do that anymore. I just didn't feel good. I just wanted to be in bed. And so now it's a lot different. Now I can do like little tester meals, little teaser meals, test it out with some broth, see where I'm at and kind of adjust like that. So what about you, Amy? Do you have to come out of a fast with using broths or anything like that?
I don't like to use broth coming out of a fast. I think that might change at some point here because I always used to make my own, and my own was way fattier than At Home
Oh,
Fire or Zoop. Yeah.
oh
And
gosh.
so if I did, I would use the Zoop
Mhm.
broth to try that out. But I normally will use something highly palatable and small, like salami and cheese,
Oh, that's
or
right. Yeah.
yeah, or I'll take some, meat and have some butter, a little bit of butter, just a small amount.
Well, I got really spoiled when I was doing a carnivore documentary in Costa Rica, and this certain brand sponsored us. I had never tasted this stuff, and I figure I save so much money when I'm in a 5-day water fast that I spoil myself a little bit with the broth that I break with. So it's called Fond, Fond, and
Oh, yeah. I've
have you
not
ever?
tried it. I've heard of it though.
Oh, it is so delicious. It's very lean.
Oh,
I don't think it has any fat in it at all. And I, shake it up. And some of them have some seasonings and some don't. And but it's lean, is what I'm saying. And so I don't get that
I
fat.
think I need to try that.
Yeah, maybe it's very expensive. Don't blame me. But if you think about not eating for a while, then it's worth it. I like this question. Really looking forward to meeting Coach Emily at Hack Your Health. Is Coach Amy going to be there too?
Yes, that's why I'm trying to lean out.
Oh,
I have outfit goals. So
yes. Oh my gosh, so fun. Well, I'm wearing my outfit. I guess I'm there.
you'll have to tell us who you are, who's your carnivore, because we won't know by that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Yeah, Amy's going to be helping me with some makeup and some hair because I don't know how to do that stuff. So, and maybe some
I
outfits.
don't actually either, but I love to play with that stuff. So
Yeah, we're talking about maybe doing some photo ops for a podcast series we have coming up. So, we'll see. We'll see how. Okay, so I want to do a couple of questions and then I got to cut it a little bit short because I need to go pack tonight and get ready.
yes.
So I'm just going to roll through these that you kind of had out. We talked about recipes, so we're good there. And yeah, there's two I'm going to touch here right now. Oh, yes. Lindy's going to need help on hair and makeup. Yes.
Ah, I'll bring
Okay.
all my loot.
Yeah, seriously. So this is a question about bridges, cheats, carnivore, non-carnivore during transition, and that some of our influencers and their partners have used maybe hot sauce or something like that. And so any thoughts on bridges and cheats, carnivore and non-carnivore?
Well, so I'm a big believer in meeting us where we are when we start, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like in our community, since we're so new, we look at Dr. Baker, who sits, we look at what people eat. That's one of the reasons that Soladino is so mentioned all the time, because he eats a few different things than what we normally find the ideal in our community. But the truth is, a lot of us use hot sauce, a lot of us use spices, mustard, some of us use sugar-free barbecue sauces, most of us use avocado mayo, some of us use avocados, so the thing is, there's so much pressure like that we put on ourselves to be the perfect carnivore.
Yeah.
Why not just if you have a few bridges, they're not the end of the world. Like I was telling Emily how when Max was starting to eat carnivore, Bella gave him this hot sauce and he put it on every bite that he ate. And so that's a bridge that was Max's bridge. And I'm okay with bridges and crutches. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I feel really okay with that too. Not so much when I started. I was a real purist. And our brand was very purist as well, which I'm very proud of because we needed a place that we could be purist, if that makes sense. So we needed a beef saltwater friendly, meat and water friendly that was kind of like a safe place. Primarily, I would say, in my opinion and my thoughts in those time was we needed a place where people could say, I'm struggling with sweetener. Can you please help me get off a sweetener? And can you help me get off of keto treats? And so I always felt very strongly about that, like in our sugar addiction call and things like that, that I want a safe place for those of us that need that strict boundary. And so I love what the Planet Fitness has thing that says judgment-free zone. And I love that. But I love it for both sides because it was kind of like, and we had some folks that wanted to teach kind of a ketovore approach. And we thought, that's not for us right now because we are the spot where those that want the strict and the feel that the stevia is a real problem for me, that wanted that healing. And so I think that it's very important that I make space for that. And that's certainly been my,
I love that explanation.
Yeah. So it's like, we matter too. Those of us that just really want and need that strictness, like we got to have a spot that we can express that and that people can relate to that.
Yeah.
And then, but I love it. I love, let's be non-judgmental on both sides of these things, because I do go through
Yeah.
some time where I use an avocado mayo or
Yeah.
pickled juice or something like that, and so I love, I think that no judgment's the spot to be, and the all walks of it deserve credence and deserve a space that can be relatable. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
where I'm at.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do one more, unless we have other ones that come up. Oh, I do want to feature this one. This was from Missy. Everyone has to learn themselves if they're able to moderate. Amen. Or they have to abstain, and I choose to abstain because I'm not able to moderate. Some of us don't want to moderate. I don't know if I'm able, but I don't want to know. Is that
Right,
okay?
you wanna find out. Yeah, that's okay.
I know. I really don't want to. I love the peace that I have so much that I don't have
Yeah.
a desire to explore that. I guess that could change over time, but I feel like I know enough because of my cheese situation that comes in and out, my heavy cream that comes in and out,
My
that like
cheese
I know enough.
situation.
Yeah, with that
Like,
cheese
my
situation.
cheese situation.
I can stay away from cheese because I'm a faster. That's how I know. Yeah. Wow. No, I love it. And I think that it's striking. I mean, everybody's journey is so different, but a lot of people, I think, are watching kind of what happened with Lindy's dramatic journey. And I love her that it was very simple for her with the dairy. She's very simply a
Yeah.
meat and water approach. And so there's got to be a space for that and a room for that. And for some people that just is the way. And but yeah, no judgment zone ever. And if you want to
Yeah.
find out, then find
Yeah,
out.
yeah, like, I do like that about SBG, even
Yeah.
though I'm experimenting now.
Mhm.
I I know what the ideal is,
Mhm.
and I also know that it's with a backdrop that's not dogmatic.
Yeah.
So we're able to ask questions and be open, but still the standard is there. I like that a lot.
Isn't that fun? We get to do both. I love that. All right, it's our last one we're going to talk about here. It says, why is it good or bad to be unemotional about falling off the wagon, eating non-carnivore foods, and eating the local food on a vacation? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the question, is it good or bad, and why is it good or bad to be unemotional if you fall off the wagon, eat non-carnivore foods, and if you go on a vacation you eat the local food. So I think what Missy said about learning yourself is really important here. But the first thing is, in my opinion, there is no good or bad. There are only choices, right? So if you go on a vacation, you decide you're going to eat, uh, you know, pasta. God forbid, like I would never eat pasta in Colorado. But if I was in Italy, I might eat pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So am I going to chastise myself? No, I'm going to make a choice. And then I also have to have tools around that choice to bring me back out of it safely. So if I do that, I'm just going to go into pasta land and come back out and be like, I'm carnivore again. That's not how it's going to work. So I have to make a choice, know myself. And and then if I eat carnivore non-carnivore food and I'm emotional about it. So this is specifically when you're transitioning. It's a little different when you have been doing it for a while, come back and eat a non-carnivore food. But when you're transitioning, um, you want to get as unemotional as you can, okay? And if you fall off the wagon, if you're pushing the envelope, you're making an unemotional choice because you don't want to come back and make a judgment on yourself.
Mm.
You make a judgment on yourself, it's going to cause you to go toward comfort food, and your comfort food's probably not going to be carnivore. So it's a bad cycle for me. So, oh, I just realized I mixed the two questions. But what I'm saying is, the more you can look at this as a project and an experiment and not a rehauling. There's nothing wrong with you the way you are right now, right?
Mm.
You're rehauling yourself, but you're doing it in such a way that you're doing it from a place of love for yourself already. And so the rehaul is not an emotional event. It's a blueprint that you're following. If you deviate from the blueprint, it's not because you're a jerk or you don't have any willpower. That's not what it's about. That's why I like steak and butter gang, because we use the food to control the willpower, not the willpower to control the food.
Mhm.
So the more unemotional you can be and not assign blame to yourself, I think is you're better off.
I love that. I mean, I was just thinking for myself, it really helps me to be non-judgmental and non-emotional if I ever, for example, break the fast. Because we're on some scale of damage. Okay, what damage is going to happen if I break a fast with carnivore food? Did anything get damaged? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. And it's like, oh, maybe my ego.
Right.
And so I look at that, and so I love what you're saying, this attitude about being very detached or kind of practicing a lot of detachment. And I'll share something super vulnerable. Oh, and let me see if I can remember. Oh, this is not fun. I'm gonna ball on you guys. I I was at a remembrance gathering yesterday. I was in Oregon, and it was a very young life that ended 4 years ago. And so it was my sister. Woo!
Oh,
Did I tell you about this, Amy? I don't know if I told you about this.
no.
Okay. Okay. And, so she was, I had a lot of different families growing up, and she was a stepsister in this period of my life.
Mhm.
I was with Jason, Sarah, and Evelyn. And Evelyn was my stepmom, and she was just
Mhm.
so beautiful to me. And so I've stayed close with these siblings, and we've gone on vacations together. They're in Oregon, and I went there, and Evelyn was talking to me about something that she had learned to deal with the worst thing I could ever imagine dealing with, that
Yeah.
her
Yes.
daughter
Like,
had gone down. Yeah, it was suddenly, and Amy, she died from sepsis. So your story is,
oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like, oh man, when you were going through that last time, and it was an infection, and it didn't get,
Yeah.
seen
Yep.
soon enough, and there were viruses happening, and she wasn't seen soon enough because it could have
Yeah.
been
It
antibiotic,
goes
and
so fast. The
went so
sepsis goes
fast. It
fast.
went
Yeah.
so fast. Young woman. She's 6 years younger than me. And Evelyn said that this thing about detachment that she had learned that kind of helps her, it's like a little mantra, is she says, not me, not I, not mine. And she just kind of says this little mantra right now, and it just helps her. When you're in that process, there's so many whys and guilt, and why did that happen to this vibrant young person that was like the best mom ever. And her son was 17, Gavin was 17 when this happened. And but it was a beautiful thing, and we're just in the midst of all of it. And that detachment, we don't have a right to blame ourselves about stuff, and
Right.
to
That's
be
a good way to say it. A right. We don't have a right to do that.
No, no. And there's just a lot of life that flows and that happens. And so I think and this is what I'm seeing in Sarah's circle. She has a beautiful circle of friends, and it's so cool to be with them and spend time with them. We couldn't have her service for a long time because of everything that was happening in the world.
Yeah.
And so it was a year and a half later till we actually had her service.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just really people have this guilt, and we just carry around stuff that's not ours.
Yeah, right.
And so I love what you're saying about the detachment method, whether that's something big stuff of,
Yep.
stuff I'm talking about guilt and loss, and whether it's, something about just making peace with ourselves,
Yes.
and choosing an agreement that there's not a blame here,
Right.
that in this case with our situation, there's food and there's choices and there's, you know, this
Yeah.
happens, I feel this way. But I just I love that attitude. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. I like it too. And I like that when you are detached, you get to save. When you choose to feel pain, you get to save it for the times that are an honoring pain. So, like you feel pain when someone passes, like you were just talking about. And it's almost like if you don't detach and you just feel everything so intensely and you're on yourself all the time, like fight or flight, nagging yourself, you're so self involved. You don't get to save any pain or emotion for these things that happen in your life, that you want to honor other people with your pain and emotion. That you're
Mhm.
coming out of your detachment to say, I'm going to feel pain and emotion about this because I love this person and I want to,
Mhm.
I want that closeness, um, that I'm going to feel with these other people who are also grieving that person. Or you want to feel pain about something that you just want to give someone else some love, so you share pain with them, right?
Mhm, mhm. I
But
did.
when yeah, yeah, I mean, that's like a very unifying thing, but when you choose to always be in those dark feelings in a judgmental way toward yourself, you don't have a lot of energy left to share loving pain with somebody else. And so it's self-involved, and being self-involved means that you've always got yourself under the thumb, you
Mhm,
know? And
mhm,
it's nice to be free of that and to just say, you know what, maybe this thing in my life is going to go great. Maybe it's not, but I'm going to go ahead and keep watching and see what happens and, have some joy either way. I mean,
mm.
that's the freedom you have. You
It
get to
is.
watch
It's
it like the suspenseful movie.
You can be neutral, and, that happened at that gathering yesterday. I was with, first husband, and we were just talking about, and I could just he had all this guilt, the survivor guilt and all that.
Yeah,
I just passed it, and that I didn't give a crap about what was on
yeah,
that table. Everybody was eating crap around me, just
yeah,
shoveling crap in, and I literally, like, tears were just streaming and streaming and streaming as I listened to him. And I think that neutrality and that awareness is like I
yeah,
wasn't busy downing on myself or feeling guilt about some crap food I ate, or like I had a clean slate. And keeping it a clean slate, it just gives us something, incredible, that we can get into territories that don't have anything about our diets or,
right.
whatever, and bring that, like, emotional maturity to situations that we're caught up in the food. We couldn't bring that or offer that to anybody.
Right.
Mhm.
It gives us power to decide when we want to be emotional.
Yeah, love that. Oh, wow. Wow, okay, well, I think we're gonna start closing it up. Amy, I
Thanks
appreciate
for
you
having
so
me. Thank you, Lindy,
much.
too. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thanks y'all for showing up. We have kickoff on Friday in the gang. And yeah, Lindy and I are going to get together and figure out when we can start doing these. We might have to tweak our scheduling around a little bit. Amy, you are a gem. Thank you to you and Todd for what you've been doing lately and opening up these calls and just being there for people. And yeah, they just more exciting, wonderful things keep on coming.
Thanks, Emily. Thank you, Coach.
Good night, y'all.
Night.